Now let's look at the concept of area. What is the area of a region represented by the first two rows in the following figure? Well, we see that we have blocks represented, and what we're going to have to recognize here is that each of these little blocks is going to represent one square unit. And so if we're looking at the first two rows, we're just looking at the top two rows here. We could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We could also notice that there are 4 blocks per row times 2 rows, and the answer to this question would be 8 square units in the top 2 rows. Now here's a problem dealing with population density. The population of California is 35,893,799, and its area is 163,696 square miles. What is California's population density? The population density will be defined as follows. It's going to be equal to the total population divided by the area. So in our problem, we're going to take our population of 35,893,799, that's in unit of people. We're going to divide that by our area, which is 163,696 square miles. Using a calculator and rounding to the nearest tenth, we come up with an approximate value of 219.3. The unit would be people per square mile. And to interpret this, we can say there are approximately 219 people per square mile, a little bit more. Now let's look at another application. A property in North Carolina is on the market at $415,000 for 1.8 acres. Part A, find the area of the property in hectares. In order to make this conversion, we're going to have to know that 1 acre equals 4/10 hectare. Now let's use the idea of taking the 1.8 acres, putting it over 1, multiplying that times our conversion, where we're going to divide out the unit of acres and introduce the unit of hectare. We're going to have 1 acre and 4/10 hectare. We're going to multiply now. Notice that our unit of acres divides out. We multiply 1.8 times 4/10. That gives us 72 hundredths. And then our answer is 72 hundredths hectare. So part B, what is the price per hectare? Well, what we know is that we have $415,000 for 1.8 acres. We've just determined that 1 acre is 1.8 acres, that is, would be 0.72 hectares. So what we're going to do here is look at our total price, divide by the number of hectares to give us our price per hectare. Our total price was $415,000. The number of hectares was 72 hundredths. And so we take 415,000, divide by 72 hundredths, and we come up with an approximate value of 576,389, and we would interpret that as being, of course, per hectare. Now let's look at a problem dealing with volume. What is the volume of the region represented by the bottom row of blocks in the following figure? Well, we have a three-dimensional object drawn. Notice that the bottom row of blocks is going to be the same as the top row of blocks. The top row is a little bit easier to see. Now, what we have to understand here is that we're going to have the following setup. Every time we have a little square like this, a little cube, that's going to equal 1 cubic unit. On our bottom row, we have the same as on our top row. Let's just start by designating what we're looking at. We're going to have a cubic unit here. That's one. And then we have a second one and a third one. And we can see that in the back part of this figure, we'd have a fourth one, a fifth one, and a sixth one. We're able to see the tops of each of the cubic units. So the bottom row of blocks, being the same as the top row of blocks, leads us to the idea that we're going to have 6 cubic units for that volume. Now let's look at a problem dealing with conversions and volume. A pool has a volume of 10,000 cubic feet. How many gallons of water does the pool hold? The conversion we're going to need is the fact that 1 cubic foot of water is going to hold approximately 7.48 gallons of water. Now we're going to start with our 10,000 cubic feet, use an abbreviation there, divided by 1. We're going to multiply that times a conversion where we're going to have our cubic feet in the denominator, our gallons in the numerator. That's going to give us 7.48 gallons for 1 cubic foot. We'll end up canceling out our unit for cubic feet. We're going to multiply 10,000 times 7.48. That gives us 74,800 gallons. Here's another application. A fish pond has a volume of 220,000 cubic centimeters. How many liters of water does the pond hold? We need to know the conversion that 1,000 cubic centimeters is equal to 1 liter. And so we're going to take our given amount of 220,000 cubic centimeters, put it over 1, multiply times a conversion where we're going to have cubic centimeters in the denominator and liters in the numerator. We know that we have for 1 liter 1,000 cubic centimeters. And now we're going to eliminate the unit of cubic centimeters. We'll end up dividing by 1,000, and that gives us a value of 220 liters.